again why my point was in the case of Black Panther, like still in spite of, you know, what was great about the film in terms of representation, it was still kind of like propaganda because Black Panther and all the Marvel superheroes are cops. Whether or not you like to view it that way, like that's what they are. They stand for law and order. And take law and order one step further, and what is it? It's just cops. The justice system.
What about Civil War though? Because like the whole argument in Civil War is
Yeah, but Civil War isn't that. So in Civil War, you're meant to sort of root for Captain America, right?
Yeah.
And those guys. But here's again, talk about America, talk about politics, talk about our culture. Essentially, the things that Captain America stood for in Civil War were Trump's platform that he ran on and then won presidency on. They were standing for deregulation. They wanted to do away with the UN, all these kinds of things that they opposed in Civil War. They didn't want to register with this like superhero act. They didn't want big government getting in the way of what they thought was the right way to police the world. That's essentially what happens in Civil War.
He just wants to operate outside the UN. Like he wants to operate without having to wait for them to.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also what Trump wanted.
Yeah, but Trump did a lot more than that. Like Trump was, there are plenty of things that Trump was that Captain America was not.
Sure.
There's plenty of things that
Trump is a real human being and Captain America is an entirely fictional character, so yeah.
Yeah, but they're like.
One's a comic
I'm just
book
kinda
movie,
taken
the other's
aback.
President of the United States.
Actually,
Yeah, but they're
my
like
dad does
outside
know a
of-
man named Steve Rogers.
Yeah, outside of.
You
There.
won't believe what my dad's name is.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying is if you look at what they stood for, on the level of political philosophy, they basically stood for the same thing.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's political philosophy. Just like go and
Captain America and Trump stand for the same thing.
They stood for very similar things. It's in that
You
case.
said they just stand for the same things. You said that.
Yeah, in that movie they did.
You said that Captain America's whole thing was wanting to work outside of the, like you said, like dismantling the UN.
Yeah.
He doesn't advocate for dismantling the UN. He just wants to operate without their consent. That's like the
The
difference.
UN is basically the United States of America.
Well, and
Especially if you look at military interventions. I think you're arguing semantics and sort of losing sight
No,
of the bigger issue.
I mean, I've watched Civil War plenty.
Trump
of times.
wanted us to pull out of the United Nations. This guy's saying, I want to be able to do what I want to do without the UN having to oversee what we do. It's basically the same argument.
Okay, that happens to coincide. What about like everything else?
I mean, again, it's semantics. I'm not saying that they're the exact same thing. You're arguing semantics here.
If you say so.
I do say so.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I was going to say, you preface this as saying that the movie is about putting you on Captain America's side, but like wasn't like a big part of the advertising like pick a side? Like, are you Team Captain America or are you Team Iron Man?
Yeah, like
Because that was a thing in 2016.
Sure, but it's
I knew about half the
It's-
people I
it's
knew
also-
about Iron Man.
it's also, look, you can't ever totally drift one direction too explicitly because the goal of those movies is to make billions of dollars. And that means you have to be very careful in alienating 50% of the public. So that's also why all this stuff is just soft politics. Like, they're not ever that explicit or hard. It's all just like meaningless puffery. Like, because if you get too specific on any one side of the political spectrum in the United States of America, you're going to lose a huge heck of the people that need to help you make $1 billion. Because at the end of it all, they don't really care about the politics. They're not being crafted by political scholars. They're being crafted by people who are essentially like thinking about how McDonald's works. Like that's the equivalent here. Yeah.
I feel like in Civil War, yeah, that's right. They don't really lean into the politics. They just sort of needed to come up with a reason for Captain America and Iron Man to hate each other.
Right, but they also needed to make it so that you're not like.
The idea in Civil War is that this government organization comes in and says, I can't even believe I'm debating fucking Marvel movies with you clowns,
Yeah, you
but like
predicted that you were
the whole point of the film is that these are considered weapons of mass destruction and now they need regulation. Captain America and his group are like, no regulation. We should be able to do what we want and trust us. We do it for the right reasons. And even if we wreck up a city and kill civilians, well, it was the greater good. That's essentially what they're saying, okay? It's the same argument for the United States military to be able to operate however they see fit around the world, regardless of civilian casualties or collateral damage. It goes back to the Iraq War, when basically the entire UN was like, no, don't go in. And the United States of America was like, yeah, we're going in. Same argument.